You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From Los Angeles, California, and Maria Menounos, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On. Spotlight On is a long-form interview series featuring actors and TV personalities. And now, from the world's number one TV after-show platform, this is AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On.
Hi everyone, we are here for a Spotlight On with an incredibly awesome guest today, none other than Heather Thomson of the Real Housewives of New York. Thank you so much for coming today.
I'm so happy to be here.
You flew all the way here just for us?
Just for you.
I mean, that
Are
was
you
just
kidding
so
me?
sweet.
I felt like the chair needed my ass in it.
I can't thank you enough for that, honestly. You are so cool. You were just as cool as I thought you. Like, you're actually way cooler, but you're really, really
Well,
cool.
I love AfterBuzz. I feel like I've been with you guys from the beginning.
I know. We love
I
that.
really do.
We love that. And I'm here with our other Real Housewives of New York hosts that we always recap with, minus Lindsay, who couldn't be here, but we miss her. Who am I with tonight?
Exactly. Thanks, Ash. Stephanie McGrath, guys.
And Courtney Henderson.
So we're definitely excited. This is going to be a fun little chat. It's like a girl talk. It's all of us just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we we definitely want at some point for you and Carol to come in. We had I was hoping at some point we'll do that.
That's
She's so
easy.
cool.
Yeah.
You two
We're
are
up together a lot, so it's
Yes.
easy to find us together.
Well, we saw a glimpse of her house in Beverly Hills, so
Yeah,
she's
it's great.
It's really
She's there-
pretty.
She's actually stuck in traffic. Because we are in LA after all.
Yeah.
She's stuck in traffic right now.
Oh, she is. Oh, that is so
Obama's here.
surprising.
Yeah. part of
Didn't
it.
he leave yet? I thought he left.
I think
thought
today.
he left yesterday.
Who?
I'm staying at the Chateau Marmont, and she's on the way
Mama.
there.
Oh,
but we're
with the
really
hot
not
traffic.
meeting till 8, but she thinks we're meeting at 6.
Right,
So I already
right.
called the front desk to get her a key.
That's fabulous. That's so smart.
She'll be in the bungalow waiting.
Yeah,
See, that's what
raiding
we
the mini
talked
bar.
a little bit, and we love the fact that you're actually genuinely friends with Carol off screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not all this
Yep.
whole everything's done
For
for
sure.
the camera.
And, I have to admit, it's not only Carol, it's Luann. Luann and I definitely hang, together off screen. She's one of my dear girlfriends. And so is
Wow.
Kristen, our newest
can
housewife.
tell.
Yes.
Oh my
We spoke to her a few weeks ago, and I knew the second we spoke to her. First of all, she is so cute. She literally was just like if she was in person, she would have had the mic and she would have been like, "Okay, so let's answer the question." She
she's
was
a
like
ball of
you.
fire.
She is.
She's
but she was
awesome.
very
Yeah.
real, and we sensed that immediately with her. And it really is cool to. There's so many people you meet when you move to LA or you live in LA that you expect to be a certain way because you've seen them on TV, and you're excited because
Yeah.
you look up to them, and
Yeah.
then they disappoint you, and you're like,
Right.
"Damn, I thought they'd
More
be really
times
cool."
than not, I feel like they disappoint. And so it's so refreshing when
Yeah.
somebody doesn't.
Well, let's
Yes.
see. Luann
Succeed.
and Carol are Luann and Kristen are both from Connecticut, and Carol and I are both from upstate New York.
Right.
So it must be kind of the New England thing going on.
Love
Oh,
it.
Boston,
Keeping
honey.
it real.
Oh yeah, keeping it real, keeping it real. I love it. So, okay, so you knew Carol before Real Housewives began,
No,
correct?
really,
Oh.
Razzie and I met on the show. So we had mutual friends in common, namely our girlfriend Duff, who was, a friend of ours and really one of Carol's best friends. And so Duff and I became friends, and she was like, "You girls need to know each other." And she was like, oh my God, you're both you're both up for Housewives.
Right.
So she was like, you have to meet. So we met quickly before the show, and it was kind of like meeting you guys. It was
Right.
like, oh,
Right,
okay,
right,
you know.
right.
I'm in a vibe with
Now
this girl.
I get it. And
Right.
then filming started, and funny enough, last season, maybe because production thought that we would, gel.
Yes.
That we didn't shoot together. You know what I mean? Really until St. Bart's is when you saw the real relationship that was actually kind of happening really come to the forefront. And,
Yes.
literally she's like a sister to me.
Right.
I mean, I talk to her almost every day, and, she's my girl.
So maybe
Yeah.
like 3 years probably altogether. that you-
Yes,
okay.
exactly. And it was, when you meet somebody, and it's nice in life when we're both, over a certain age, and it's nice when you meet a real girlfriend when you're like in your 40s,
Right.
and Carol's 50.
Right.
So it's good.
Right, and Ella really likes her too. Like we
Ella
saw a little
yeah.
glimpse
Yeah.
of that. She gave her the balloon. That was
Yes,
so cute.
they have a true bond.
They
I mean,
do.
Jax too. I mean,
Yeah.
she's she's around, so
Right.
they know who she is, and they miss her when she's not around, and they're happy to see her when she is,
Right.
and it's real.
That's so
Now,
sweet.
Heather,
Luann too.
I know in one particular article that, or one interview that you did before you started, and they asked you the question space, did you have any hesitation about joining the Housewives? I mean, we've seen the franchise. You've seen by that stage all the way up their past seasons and what goes on. Was there any more hesitation? Because I know there was a big delay. We were all waiting for the new season to start, and especially now your kids are older, and in particular things that are going with Jax.
Yeah, there was definitely another hesitation. It's a lot of work, the show. I mean, it's not a joke. I mean, we filmed for 5 months straight. We, shoot sometimes 3 scenes a day. It's a lot of work, and I run a business. I have my own company, and I'm a mommy, and I have 2 kids, and that's right, I have a husband. And he does like to get laid every now and then. I love it. And so it was like, is it really worth it? Was the question. And Carol and I had some long hearts about it, and we decided after all that that it was, and clearly we signed up to do it again. We felt that if we didn't do it the second season, the first season would have been for nothing. Right. So all that we sacrificed and all that we went through for season 1, would have been for nothing. And I've never quit anything in my life, and I felt like if I owed it to the cast, I owed it to the fans, I owed it to the network. To stick in and give it one more shot. And so I'm glad that we did. I really am.
Well, and I'm glad that you did too, because I feel like you have kind of led this new tribe of housewives where, taking it the Amanda Sanders way or the Faye Resnick way and kind of just throwing people under the bus to stay relevant, it's kind of long gone. It seems like you, Kristen, and Carol are starting this new trend almost of being real and cool and showing that that's still very entertaining.
Showing the real New Yorker women.
Right.
Though I think that's added to it.
Right, you can do it all.
Business women. Right. I mean, yourself, I think you even mentioned that you've quoted saying, I haven't, I started working when I was 13 and I've never stopped since.
That's true.
Right.
And your entire, which we'll go on to,
yes,
your business. I mean, to do all that and then film the whole production, how has that though changed in terms of business? I'm curious about that.
Well,
has it been a positive move?
Most certainly, it's been good for my business because I'm building a brand. The Yummy Tummy Tank, the original 3-panel tank that I'm always fighting for my intellectual property.
Everything's cool now, right?
It's a good. I don't honestly think it will ever be cool. Right. I think they say, Carol said it best. Imitation they say is the highest form of flattery.
Yes.
No, it isn't. Flattery is the highest form of flattery.
No, we're talking about money.
Well,
here.
right.
So
you're doing something right when people are copying you.
It's true. And patents are very, very particular things. It's an intellectual property. The U.S. government gives inventors a patent, and then you wind up having to enforce and stick up for your intellectual property all the time. So, that's difficult. But when you have a good idea and you have an idea that sticks, everybody wants a piece of it, and that's just the way it goes. So, I call it my backpack. I put it on when I have to put it on, and it's not so hot. If the Prada doesn't make it, it's ugly, it's heavy. But I take it off and I put it back in the corner and I continue with my life. And it's just part of my business since I launched it. And it's a distraction, but it's a necessary distraction. I have to stand up for what I believe in.
Right. Well, there are so many people that are trying to, we see Dr. Ray doing it. Even Jill Zarin was doing it.
Yeah, was in 2011 she launched a...
Right. But really, your original, that tank started because you're you really did it for you at the beginning.
Did. It was
and that's
selfish
why.
initiative.
Yeah. So you did this for yourself. Explain though, because you already obviously doing style and designing and you're working in this field. So you were already a pro at it. So for you, did you really ever think it would get to this level of success, or did you feel like this was just for me so I feel hot and sexy on my date night? And
well, it's a good question because it wasn't strategized. It really was a selfish initiative, and I did what any good designer would do. When I couldn't find something in the market that I wanted, I created for myself. And I was working for Beyonce and Tina Knowles, and I have only love for them. I love them both so much, and it was an idea that I had, and everybody wanted it. And my husband was like, you always say you want to make women feel their best. And I worked for Jennifer Lopez, and I worked for Beyonce, and I know how good curvy girls felt, back in the day. And there was no role models for them. And, we had our Kate Mosses, and everybody was like skinny, mini, and like everything is in today. And I love that, because that's what America's built on. That's what it's all a melting pot of all different cultures, and, and I really believe in that. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. beholder, and everybody is beautiful. And so when I could create a brand or a product that was going to encourage women, my husband was like, well, you better get out there and share it. You know, you little secret keeper, you.
Yes, right, exactly.
So I did it, but I did it in hindsight. You know, I did it as like, oh, maybe it'll pay for, you know, a college education or two, you know. But I was tried and true, stuck, you know, with Beyonce and Tina, and it was bittersweet because when I put it into a trade show, it really took off, and I had to then focus on my own brand. So I was sad to leave them, but it was exciting, and they were really very happy and encouraging. Yeah, they're great.
Incredible.
So I've had some great mentors in my life, and I've had some great support systems in my life, and I've been designing clothes for over 25 years.
But you're a girl's girl, though.
amazing.
You're a girl's girl.
I mean,
That's
I
incredible.
feel like I'm 23.
But it's quite interesting how you then move from, and we've all heard you talk about so highly of Sean P. Diddy,
Yes.
and your work with him, and I mean you won all the nominations and everything for it in the franchise, his clothing line, but then to move from male into something so specifically women orientated, was that always, though, I'm assuming it was always within you were just...
I was never an exclusive designer. I was always an inclusive designer. You know, I embrace all of fashion, be it accessories, you know, shoes, handbags, you know, fur. Sorry, I embrace it. You know, I mean,
At least you own it.
You know, I own it. You know, and you know, I looked at every opportunity of jewelry. You know, and I would get into beauty. I love beauty. I love nutrition. I like things that are, you know, feel good, that are good for you, that make you look good, that make you feel good. You know, those are the things I like. So every opportunity that came my way, and Puff afforded me a lot of opportunities. You know, design kids' clothes. You know, I designed kids' clothes for Puffy. I designed kids' clothes for Jennifer. So it gave me these opportunities, you know, in fashion, working for someone with a big name like that was licensing a lot of, you know, their name for different, you know, classifications, and I oversaw it all. So it gave me an unbelievable look into fashion that wasn't inclusive. I wasn't just a denim designer, which I mean, I love denim. It's a specific cloth, and you can master it. And I was able to master that. And then I was also able to work in shoes and understand lasts, and work in jewelry and understand molds. So I had this really, you know, rounded experience in my career working with Puff, working with Jennifer Lopez, working with Beyonce.
Well, speaking of that, you do have, and now you're launching the ready-to-wear, correct?
Well,
and gym wear?
Well, athletic wear.
Athletic wear,
So,
okay.
You know,
So what can we expect?
Well, Yummy is really a lifestyle brand, and I find that people overuse that term often, and we really are living it. So what that means is that for a woman in all walks of life, Yummy's there with her. You know what I mean? And I say through thick and thin. So shapewear is at our core, and that was what launched the brand, and it will forever be at our core. But that's merely the foundation of dressing. So it's like the canvas is the beginning of my brand, was like the canvas. And now what the brand is about is, it's really, my vision is about essentials. The essentials that women need. So jeans is an essential in a wardrobe. Leggings, essential in a wardrobe. A slip, a bra, panties.
A little black dress.
A little black dress.
Seems like you could already almost wear your stuff like as a. I mean, you really you could throw like a jacket over it. You could just put a jacket over it,
Carol
though.
can, you know.
Yeah. Oh my God, forget it.
You know,
But the
she
fact
wears
that
some
you're
of
now
the
doing it with
dresses.
activewear, exactly, because it's not just formal occasions or, you know, the night that you want to wear it. I mean, all of your, in particular, I know your panty lines that I've noticed and I love, and, you know, especially now with all the thongs and everything, you want to wear them more than just the one night. There's other times that you do want them as well.
Exactly, and it's for every day. So everything's for every day. And so the active apparel, like I'm an athlete. You know, I've been since I was a kid. I was a 4-letter varsity winner in high school, and I was a ski instructor. And you know, I grew up in the Berkshires, as you see.
And you take out that cameraman.
And I took out
we saw that. We kept our cameraman in.
Supposed to be pointed
We
at
kept
me?
him in the. We kept him in there tonight, so he's safe. Steven's safe.
So you know, I was and you know, working out is a part of, you know, my life, and I believe in it, not only for, you know, a great ass, but I believe in it for, you know, your brain, and it's important to just do that for your overall health. And so activewear, what happens is we need versatility as women today. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not schlepping a damn gym bag around wherever I go.
No.
So if I know I'm working out that day, I'll wear my leggings to work with a heel, and you know what I mean? I'll throw a sneaker, a really lightweight, like New Balance cross trainer. Really, it's not like a big, heavy shoe anymore. You know, in my purse.
Yep.
and like a little jog bra, and I'm ready for the gym, and I don't have to change. And then after I work out, if I want to go meet somebody for a cocktail, I throw the tunic back on and the high heel, and I can keep the legging on.
I love that.
It's not like my boxing workout where I'm like sweating, but if I'm doing a 30-minute weightlifting routine or 15 minutes on the rowing machine, I can rock that legging again.
Right.
But it's a win-win situation in terms of motivation for everyone that complains, I don't have the time, it's too much hassle to go to the gym. You're setting the example, saying, actually no, you can go to work in your gym clothes and get there.
You can.
And you can go meet up for drinks and still look fabulous.
You can,
Yes.
exactly.
So,
and I
absolutely.
think sometimes as women, we get too caught up in like, oh, I have to have the perfect blow dry, and I need to have everything perfect.
I thought you were going to say something else. I don't know
because-
why. For like a quick second. I don't know
where I was going. Tell me.
I thought you said blowjob. I don't know why, but I was like, the perfect. I don't know where that came from. I was like, wow, this is getting juicy. All right, let's get into it. Where's my mind? Where's my mind? Oh God.
You can wear
Okay.
your leggings for that too.
I love you.
Well,
Because my leggings for that
Well,
too.
because I feel like, and we can get into this, but I feel like it's sexy. And Yummy really does. It really does embrace that. It says, you are sexy the way you are, and this is just going to help you tighten up whatever's there. And I love that.
And I think
Doesn't
that
hide
we
it.
spend too much time at being like trying to be perfect, trying to have like our lipstick right and our hair right all the time. Like, you're so beautiful just being you. Like, throw your hair. You don't need the blow dry today. Okay, so you went to the
And this is
gym and
coming
now you
from
want to
the
meet
Real
for a
Housewives of New
cocktail.
York.
Right?
It's true. Throw your
love
hair
it.
up in the ponytail. Put on some clear lip gloss. You know what I mean? And go be you. That's who people. We are so tough on ourselves. I see a full picture when I look at you. I see a full picture when I know when you look at you, you see the zit.
Yep.
You see the eyebrow that needs to be plucked. We
Yep.
don't see that.
Right.
And I think sometimes we're a little too hard on ourselves as women, and you just got to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, those sort of values, and has this been something you'd say that over the years you sort of, now feel that you've come to? It's something that when you were, that most women
23.
experience when you were 23,
Yes.
you're so
That's the
insecure about it all.
Beauty of aging.
Yeah.
It
Your daughter's
is.
very
That's
lucky.
why I'm proud. People are like, why do you always say how old you are? I'm like, because I'm smarter now.
I love that.
But I love that.
Now I
love
can
that.
take away my years of wisdom.
And your accomplishments and everything from it, though.
44 years old, and I want to teach the 23-year-olds that are listening to throw their hair in a ponytail and put on the clear lip gloss and go have a good time.
That's great for Ella too, though,
You know?
because it's to see her mother confident.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It really is, because
Yeah.
you really do mimic a lot of what your parents do, especially the way your mother views herself.
Right.
You kind of end up doing
Hugely.
that.
Yes.
Hugely.
It's true. So,
Yep.
but you did mention we have to get into. We don't. I wish we could chat all night. I would love to. Maybe we'll just bring Carol here. We'll eat dinner. We'll get some takeout over here.
Get some wine.
But the Berkshires, quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all really felt for you the other night when we watched this because you opened your door and you welcomed these ladies into your beautiful home. And I mean, this is like, you live the life. You have your New York home. You have this home. So it's for people that are watching. I don't know if you caught 2 nights ago's episode, but Ramona and Sonia also attend. And Sonia was pretty cool, but Ramona kind of felt like this was not her type of vacation.
So it's below her standard.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you're so chill, and I really don't think, honestly, I can tell that it wouldn't affect you to the point where you're like, oh my God, I'm so insecure about like you're not going to get like
No.
that. But watching it over again, because this was like 6 months ago or whatever, how did that make you feel overall, just to see how somebody,
I felt bad
wasn't
for-
super
I felt
excited
bad
about
for
it?
Ramona, and I actually felt bad for Sonia too. I mean, Sonia, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
That's what.
And she may want to stay in the car because the real estate she feels is bigger inside. I own my real estate through and through. Ramona says, she paid $500,000 for her land in the Hamptons, and I paid $500,000 for mine. I got 26 acres, honey.
When I read that,
It's like
Unbelievable.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And I don't, that's not, to Google someone's land, what are you really doing? And to me, she's acting very nouveau riche, and she's not even that. So, to me, I think a lot of times what Ramona and Sonia do, unfortunately, is they try to do things for the show, for the value of the show, for the shock value. And I think it really, unless you're going to be true to who you are, it's going to always fire back in your face. And so I think Sonia tries to be funny and quirky for the show. And so she's got a really good heart. She doesn't mean it. Ramona's rude, 100% straight up rude. And she needs to check herself because, I won't stand for that. I won't stand for that. But we're at a place now where I can say to her, you're being, pardon me, you're being effing rude.
Right.
And it's like ridiculous. And she'll be like, I know, okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, Ramona, come on, it's time to grow up.
Yeah.
But, she honestly didn't bother me at all. It's like a joke. Like, I think Ramona's taste is gaudy, and I think, and I really do.
No, yeah, no.
But
To
I
each his
don't,
own.
but I would never say, I mean,
you're
I just said
honest.
it on this show, but I would never say that. It's just not who I am, because to each his own.
Right.
And, I don't really think she felt what she did on the show necessarily, so I wasn't wounded, I wasn't hurt. I feel bad for Ramona. I think privilege and money and things like that come in so many forms. I know people who could buy and sell Ramona over 10,000 times, and you would never,
Especially out here, the money out here too.
You would never know it. They are just lovely and humble and beautiful. And I think mostly she did for the show. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you want to buy real estate in a town because you think all the famous and rich people live there,
By association.
then go for it, honey.
Right.
Now I'm
Right.
going to bring it up. Do you think, though, talking about Ramona there, with everything that's gone on with Mario, did you feel any change in behaviour when you were just talking about? Was that her? Has she been like that normally in previous seasons?
like
or did you
that.
feel
It
something
had
was
nothing to
different
do-
this
Yeah,
season?
no, this is just how she
I mean,
is.
the only thing that I can say is that in concerning Mario and Ramona, the only thing I had with that situation was hindsight. Watching the show and watching Mario say the best cheaters are the ones that don't get caught, and I was like, oh God, we're talking. For me, we were talking about golf. I mean, I
Right,
had no
right, of
idea
course, of
the
course.
innuendo.
Right.
And then when he hugged me, like when I was taking them to the Berkshires, and I felt like I wanted to take the guys out for some steak and lobster and caviar, and he was like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Right.
Like,
You're like, why
that
are you
was,
thinking that much?
that was hindsight. And then
Yeah.
Ramona brought a guy who was, Joey and I are friends from the
husband.
show, and editing sometimes isn't always favorable, but like I had a couple's dinner, I had a private dinner party scheduled, and she brought someone completely unannounced.
Right.
And so, and I could see that she almost, it was like a distraction. So in hindsight, she and Mario clearly weren't getting along at that moment, and so Joey was a distraction for her, which had she picked up the phone and called me and said, I want to bring him, I would have said, bring him, and then I would have invited Razzie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would
Yeah.
have added so that there was another person at
Right.
the
Just
table.
make a couple,
Right.
even if they're not
Girls, just,
on a date.
I like to know. I'm really,
Right.
I'm really good when I'm in the know. I'm not good with surprises so much.
I just feel like with you, you're somebody that is so real, and you are one of those people that if you're dealing with something or something's on your mind, you'll just say it, and you'll say it kindly, and it's so rare, and so it must be difficult because, in a way, I mean, I'm sure you've learned now that you really can't expect people to be the way you are, because
Right.
it's
You'll always-
so disappointing.
weird
or
one.
what you expect them to be.
Right.
Because you'll always be disappointed.
It is, exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you really probably, I'm sure you had to learn that the hard way, just because, I mean, you're so lucky now with Carol, but I mean, really, when you think about it, it's tough to find girls that are like the way you are in that sense, and you just want that friend that's will
true.
tell you when you have a snot in your nose and tell you when
there are
you're
more
doing
people
this.
out there like Carol and I than there are like Sonia and Ramona.
Yeah.
So I think that we're the majority.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Did you grow up hanging out with guys more?
Most.
can tell,
Because
you
I
can
feel
totally
like
tell.
every girl that
Yeah.
I meet, that I
Yeah.
just vibe with, that's kind of the case.
Yeah.
I grew up in a neighborhood of boys.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, we feel like we felt like we knew, like from the first episode, we felt like we've known you.
Yeah.
Because you just give that vibe. So you are not only relatable, but you're fun to watch, and you, like I said, you are showing the viewers that you don't need to be mean and cruel to
No.
get ratings.
Drama
should
doesn't
take
mean
that.
I don't have to
interesting.
pretend who I am.
Completely
I don't
new.
have to fake that I'm nouveau riche or I
Right.
have bag
Yeah.
handlers. I mean, that's bullshit, and I would never, ever fake who I am. I'm very proud of who I am. I'm very proud of my parents and my upbringing and all of those things, and I would never, ever fake it, whether it's good for you or not. I don't really care. It's my life, right?
Now, on that, though, what was your take, though, watching the initial first couple of episodes when you... I mean, by all means, that's another side we hadn't ever seen of you, Heather,
I was
before.
mad.
When you were dropping the F-bombs and going
I liked
off.
it. I actually
mean,
liked
that
it.
was-
I wanted more of that. I was like,
I didn't learn how to swear in prison, by the way, Aviva Drescher. I
oh
learned
my
how to
God,
swear
I
in a
can't.
kitchen.
I can't. I
My mother
can't.
owned a restaurant, and I learned how to
love
swear in
that.
the restaurant.
Yes.
I mastered this swearing
cut,
working
a
in hip hop.
burn, a-
Yes, exactly. Is that your favorite type of music? Just curious.
No, I'm a rock and roll girl. So
Are you?
Zeppelin,
I-
Stones,
that's my favorite.
Coldplay, like I am.
I should have been
I'm a
born in the
rock and roll
60s.
girl.
Like the
Yeah.
Doors, like I listen to the Doors
too.
by myself. I
Me
love,
too.
I don't
Queen,
care.
I mean, Kiss.
AC/DC,
I'm
whatever.
Really, I mean, I like all music. I love the blues. I love jazz. I love
Bit of Elvis for
I
Kristen's
mean, I'm
sake.
not I'm not a
Yeah,
huge
for
I'm
Christ's
not a
sake.
huge Elvis fan, but you'll see coming up. I certainly appreciate the
Yes,
idea of
yes.
Elvis.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. And so I mean, I like all kinds of music, but I got really angry at the beginning of the season. And you can see, if you even reflect on last season, as rude and obnoxious as Ramona was to me, she really never got under my feathers because it didn't really bother me.
Right.
When I was really angry, and clearly there's a lot of the show that gets edited out, and there were things that were going on with Aviva where, I was breaking the fourth wall, as they call it, where you're not supposed to talk about being on a TV show when you're on the TV show. And
That is very rare.
And I get it. And, I think Bravo is breaking it a little bit more than normal, because everyone, by the way, has caught on that we're actually on a TV show.
I can't believe it.
Wait,
It's not
what?
a big secret.
Wait, you're on TV?
Spoiler alert. Cover
She's
your
on TV,
ears.
you guys.
Earmuffs, everyone. Earmuffs.
So Aviva, and I was so incensed and outraged and gobsmacked that she would actually attack someone's livelihood and career, and to me that it's like as low blow as attacking someone's children. And we made a pact at the beginning of the season as three new girls that we would not be mean girls, and Aviva had broke that pact in every way, shape, or form that you possibly could break it. And when she went after Carol like that, I was incensed. And she said to me, by the time I said, "Don't tell me," she had said to me, "I'm working. There are cameras. You see that camera pointed there and there and there at me?" And I'm like, "Working, bitch. You're lucky you got a motherfucking job." I was mad. I was
my
mad.
God,
I was mad. And
You're like, I'm working that same job.
I love this woman.
This
I
and this and
literally-
this and this.
Exactly.
Two frames in the camera right here. Like,
And I'm
this-
not
shoot,
ripping
darling.
apart someone's career, and I'm being honest with you that you character assassinate people, and I take issue with that.
Yes.
And I was not, butting my nose in Carol and Aviva's fight. I was standing up for what I believe in, because my heroes stand up for what they believe in. And if I see some guy grab a girl's purse on the street, I'm gonna go run after him.
Well, I also feel like
I mean, that's.
No, absolutely. I also feel it's because, Carol, you have your husband to, if he needs to step in, he'll step in. But Carol doesn't have that significant other, and I feel like you almost, in a way, like you felt like, as her best friend, and knowing that who else is really going to step in, like you wanted to say, like, this is not right, this is not okay.
I appreciate that a lot, and I would do anything for my friends, but I really was standing up for what was right and wrong.
It was more you feel
It really
deep
was.
down,
Not
weren't
who's right,
you?
but what's right.
It
So
was
it
what
was-
was
because
right.
if someone
Carol
did
was
come and do
wrong,
that
I would
to
have
you.
told her. I
Right.
felt like she was wrong.
Well, yeah, I
You know
felt
what
like
I
you
mean?
kind of did that in a sense on the picnic when you guys were sitting on the blankets.
The beach,
Yeah, you were
It
trying
was
to
time
get
to
them.
move on, you
Right.
know?
That
And it was
makes
only because that was where I cared about Carol. Because at that juncture for me, I felt like it was healthier for Carol. And it was like taking a bullet for her. So that was my way of taking the bullet out and sewing
Yes.
the wound for her.
Yes.
To try to help her to move on from it. Because she was more gobsmacked than anybody that someone would slander and libel her on television like that. And
Well, at all, especially on television.
yeah, and I mean, like, it's not like, I don't know, Carol wrote What Remains was a book about, her husband's death and the death of her two best friends. And it took her, they're talking, it took her 5 years to write it. Yeah, motherfuckers, it did.
Yeah.
Okay, because she went and sat down and had to reflect, and she would call her sister and talk about her emotions and put it on the page, because that's what her art is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for anybody to try to take that away. And then after that, she wrote a novel. What an amazing accomplishment. So many people there. I mean, you can open a library door, and there are a ton of writers out there, and some who tell their story through a ghostwriter, and there's no shame in that. And you have the craft of an artist to help you put your words on the page.
Yep.
And then you have those of us who have the craft of putting the words on the page. So I was pissed.
Yeah.
And when you piss me off, I'm going to get puffy. on you.
Love it.
I love it.
Proudly.
And you certainly did. Now, you did mention, though, you made a little pact when you were saying that with the girls, you all tried to not be the bitchy girls. And there were a couple of topics that you were going to try and refrain from bringing up this season. In particular, what about with kids? Now, some of the recent episodes with you showing about what you're going through.
Yeah.
Any updates, though, too, with Jax
Yeah.
and the hearing aid?
Yeah.
Can you let us know?
Yes.
I mean,
We're
if
definitely
someone
gonna get
came
into that.
after, if someone, one of the girls on the show said something like, "Oh, she's, putting her kid on the show to stay relevant," or something like that, I would really take major issue with that.
Absolutely.
My son, unfortunately, has had, a lot of struggles in his very young life, and for whatever reason, it's meant to. I really believe in life when you're thrown a punch. It's not how you hit the mat, it's how you get back up. And for whatever reason, these challenges are meant to be for us as a family. And, you know, all of Jax's issues, as trying as they are, now that the liver transplant is complete, none of them are life-threatening. Although they're difficult,
Yes.
none of them are life-threatening. And, you know, so a wise woman once said to me, throw your problems in a circle, and you're going to run home with your own.
Yes.
There's
heard that.
there's always some guy that's got it worse than you. And that was Jax and Jonathan and Ella. That's our motivation as a family. When we were diagnosed with, whether it was the allergies, the bronchiectasis, you know, the ear disorder, the liver transplant, I felt very alone. You know what I mean? I felt very alone as a parent dealing with a sick child. And if a woman or a man can turn on the television, or a child for that matter, who's now grown from some of their issues, can turn on the television and see someone that they can relate to, well, God damn it, I'm going to do it every last time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what Jax is a soldier for his own cause. I mean, since he's been in preschool, he's lifted his belly and showed his scar and talked about his liver transplant. You know, and until Jax says to me, hey, Mom, I don't really want to do this anymore, you know, he's going to do it.
Yep.
You know, and he does it well, and I don't think he'll ever say that.
I
You
love
know, he's
that
very
it's-
compassionate.
He's so strong.
His choice too. I mean, that you
his
as a parent
choice.
are letting him tell his story and live his life the way that he needs to, because
Absolutely.
and then I love that you said we, you know, when we were diagnosed, because it is, you know, a family thing, and it just shows that he's not alone.
He's not alone. And, you know, there's never a day that we're filming the show that my children have said, Mom, I don't want to film today, and I make them put a mic pack on. Never.
No, they come
will
first.
ever happen.
Right.
They are interested in it. Jax is actually more interested in being behind the camera than in front. He'll oftentimes, after a while, you find him over by the camera guys with the headphones on. He's really interested in behind the scenes. I think creating the show versus being a star in is what interests Jax. Now, would I've ever noticed that about my child if I hadn't taken the opportunity of the Housewives? Ella, on the other hand, has got her perfect housewife clothes down. She's got the hand on the
What's
hip.
the tagline?
Oh my God, she's
She
so
would take Holla.
cute.
She
She
likes
would take
Holla.
Holla.
She's so cute. I can't. I want to just
they're
quickly.
a piece of it. They're a piece of it.
There's something very, and I want to make sure, because I do want to, I want to raise awareness about something that I actually was very surprised of when I did my research for this interview. And I want you to quickly explain to people. I know that when you signed up to be an organ donor, you were at the DMV, and this was a long time ago.
16 years old.
Right. And, you know, you checked it off, and you never thought years later that this would be, it would go full circle for you.
Right, and that I would be a recipient and not a donor.
Right.
When I signed the card, I always was about giving. It wasn't
Right.
about getting.
Exactly.
You know, which is really apropos
Exactly.
when you look at back when you reflect back at it.
Exactly. Now, a lot of people feel that if they sign that they want to be an organ donor, that if something happens to them, God forbid they get in an accident or something, they won't get the best care possible.
Right. I'm so
And
glad you brought that up.
I was so stunned because I'm ignorantly so, I apologize, but I actually thought that was the case.
Right.
So I was always afraid to do it because I was always told, if you do that and something happens to you, they'll let you die.
Your life isn't important.
And I'm
it's your,
a
Isn't that
25-year-old
so
woman,
gosh.
so
Okay,
I
so
want to
let's
just make
People
sure.
really think that.
So I want to
clearly-
raise awareness about this to everybody listening because this is very important. I want Heather to just quickly explain that is absolutely not the case.
First of all, a doctor's job, first and foremost, is to save your life. Okay, so you know it's like the doctor's bill of rights or something. There's like something it's called. It's escaping me now, but it's a vow that a doctor takes. And their vow is to save human lives. That's 100% what doctors vow to do when they become a doctor, okay? So they would never take one life to save another life. It goes against their grain. They have to save the life that's in front of them. Secondarily, just factually, they're two totally separate teams. The second team doesn't even know about the first guy
I remember reading
until
that.
the
That was
guy
incredible.
is pronounced dead.
No one knows that. So many people don't know
So
that.
they're saving, whether they're fibrillating you or they're trying to put air into your lungs or whatever they're trying to do, or giving you transfusions. They are saving your life at every corner, every cost, every opportunity that they have to save their life. It's not until you're pronounced dead that the other team even knows you exist for potential
fascinating.
organ donation.
Because I am definitely
So they're two
switching off on
completely
that for
separate
myself.
teams. So it doesn't even work that way. It's not like, hey, honey, I have like a half live one here. So I was calling. They're totally separate teams. So it's only when you are pronounced, and you have to die a certain way to be an organ donor.
Yeah.
You can't have cancer.
Right.
You have to. It has to be a brain trauma.
So there's
you know
really
what I mean?
no
So
reason that you
there
should
is
be afraid to do
absolutely
that.
no
So I'm so
reason.
glad that I read about that.
Exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of misnomers about organ donation, and I'll tell you, the only one that you need to know about is the only thing you need when you go to heaven intact is your soul.
Yes.
So you
Amen.
can save a life by donating your tissues and your organs, and you can change lives. You know, Manny Patinkin is a perfect example. He had 2 cornea transplants. He wouldn't see today. We wouldn't have these wonderful shows and these wonderful actors, you know, without that, you know. Alonzo Mourning. Like, there are so many people that wouldn't be with us today if it weren't for organ donors.
50 lives.
50
person
lives.
saved.
So our donor, who was, his parents worked in organ donation. So, I mean, there's not a bit more bittersweet story than that.
Of course.
And, you know, in Don's death, Donald Blair touched 50 lives.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, burn victims, people who don't see, you know, people who needed a heart to live. It's
incredible.
You know, Don, in his death, gave them
goosebumps.
life.
There's goosebumps
So, I
all
mean,
over me.
what better way to go? You know
I know,
what I mean? Than to know that you've given the gift of life.
Yeah, to honor life,
Yes.
literally by giving it in your passing.
Exactly. And it's got to put you a little higher on God's totem pole.
I know.
At the end of
Oh,
the day.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Brownie point.
Yep, absolutely. You ring that doorbell, he'll answer immediately.
Just saying.
He'll answer himself. He doesn't have the help. He'll answer himself. And I just want to know. I know that April it was the last of the month that the organ donations were going, but they can continue.
So April
Correct?
is Organ Donor Awareness
Right,
Month.
right.
It's just a month for awareness, and
Oh,
you know,
okay.
it's just like Earth Day. You
Right.
know, awareness to be good to our Earth, and it so happens they both fall in April. And you know, Earth Day, recycling, it all works
Yeah,
in
right.
terms of
It
you
does.
know,
Full life,
it does.
life
full
cycle.
Yeah. So April is Organ Donor Awareness Month.
Yes.
And it's just a good time if you haven't done it to sign up to be a donor, or it's a good time if you are a donor to talk to your friends and say, "So are you an organ donor?" And have the conversation. So
Yeah.
are you guys organ donors?
I'm
I
going
am.
now.
I'm
Now
gonna
I'm
have
going.
to
I
tell
will
my
be
friends
now.
now.
I will
Donor
be
in 2
now.
countries.
Are you really?
Ooh,
Around the
look
world.
at that.
I love it.
wonderful.
So where can people go? I just want to, and we
Yeah.
will put the link in the YouTube when we upload to YouTube. But where? Can they go?
DonateLife.net is the best way to go, because organ donation is state run, so it's not a fully, you know, it doesn't fall under a government umbrella. Each state runs it. So but the laws are very similar. But if you go to DonateLife.net, you can find your state, click on your state, they'll bring you to the website for your state for organ donation, and you can sign up to be an organ donor.
Excellent, awesome.
Fantastic.
That's so great.
Everyone's clicking away now.
I know.
Hopefully,
I know.
they're not watching
Well, you
anymore. They're
have
going
a
to
lot.
donate.
You really have so many people that love you. They don't just like to watch you; they love you. They feel like they know you. So you know, you can go to sleep every night knowing that you didn't throw anybody under the bus, or you know, trade out any. Just you're being authentic to yourself, and people love that. You must feel that must be the ultimate feeling of confidence to know.
You know, I have an opinion on just about everything, but I judge no one. You know what I mean? And that's really where I come from. So sometimes I'm only honest, you know, and sometimes I'm honest to a fault. I call it like I see it. I tell it like it is from my perspective, but I always have an ear to listen to somebody else's perspective.
Right.
You know, and everybody has an opinion, and boy, it's what makes the world go round. And so I'm just there to offer mine, and hopefully, you know, be a little bit of, you know, an inspiration if you're having a fight with your girlfriend and you watch us on the show and you see us overcome it. You know, I call it Sex in the City drama. You know, the way SJP and the girls did it, you know, they overcame, and they got stronger because of it. And I believe that as much as the viewers love on the franchise of Housewives, they love to see the table flipping, and they love to see the drama, and unfortunately love to see families, you know, ripped apart. You know, it's that human nature of you turn to watch the traffic accident, you turn to look and see it. But I also believe on the same note that people like to see people getting along, and love to flourish, and friendships to grow, and people to get over issues. And I really believe the New York franchise has the perfect balance right now.
Teachable and relatable moments.
So true.
I just want to point out, I mean, you have such an amazing life. I mean, I look at it and it's like, okay, so she's got the man, the kids, the job, the friends, you know, it's like the house, the Berkshire's house, you know, it's like you have it all, and you didn't have to be mean or give up anything along the way with your integrity or your morality to get there. And that, for me, as somebody that, you know, doesn't have a family yet, that is still pursuing my career, to see that, okay, you can be the nice girl, you can stay true to who you are, and get all of those things.
Yep. The only thing you got to add in there is a lot of hard work.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
To paraphrase RuPaul, you better work.
Yes.
And you got to work hard.
Don't stop working.
Exactly. And I said it on the show. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. You know what I mean? I still have hopes and dreams and aspirations. And looking at my property in the Berkshires is a perfect example of that. We didn't build the main house. We built the pool house.
I love
You know
that.
what I mean? We bit off what we wanted to chew.
And now you've got a garage.
And I have a lovely garage.
To sleep in, and you got some air conditioning. Compliments of Ramona.
She said it. I was just honestly, someone said you have to read the blog, and as I was walking in here, she said that she was going to buy me an air conditioning unit for every bedroom. Let me tell you, not only did she send that piece of shit air conditioning to my house, she took it with her when she left.
Oh my God.
Just saying.
And on that note,
anyway, I'm the girl that says to the driver, "Could you turn the air off?" I
my
like
gosh.
fresh air.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I like fresh
My
air.
dad never let us put the AC on growing up. He's like, AC or the windows. You don't have them both. I'm like, all right, fine,
Exactly.
Windows.
There's honestly 1 week a year, and it happened to be the week when the girls were visiting, where it's really hot, but still you could see. I can't fake the breeze on television. I mean, there's a beautiful breeze.
Yes,
I'm at the
we
top
did
of a
see that.
mountain, and it was great. I mean, it's good to sweat it out a little bit sometimes.
Oh, it was
Well, we
lovely.
do
You
have
could've
one
put her in.
question. We were all pondering. Was the pond, no pun
Yeah.
intended, was the pond/lake cold? We were just
No,
wondering. This is
warm,
random.
beautiful. It's a lake.
Okay.
I call it a pond to freak out Ramona.
We're like, that's a really big pond.
I do that on purpose. It's a lake. It's called Prospect Lake, and
Okay.
it's right at the foot of our mountain that we live on, and it's a beautiful, clean, delicious, lovely lake, and it was warm.
I love it. So beautiful.
We filmed in August.
Oh,
It
that's
looked
perfect.
like the maybe it's just like the way they color correct or whatever for the show, but at one point it looked cold, like when you guys are jumping in and then Carol jumps in. I'm like, I mean, I know they're in bikinis
Courtney
and they're getting in the
Henderson
water,
did
but
that.
I was like,
you know
so
what it was?
concerned.
It was the sun was going down, so
Right,
the
that's what
water
I was
was warm,
saying.
but it was dusk.
We were
so
wondering.
it made the water look darker
little
and maybe
colder,
cold.
yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Well, I'm from Massachusetts, so I even if it's August, I'm
The
still
Berkshires
assuming
is
it's
in
probably. I know. So I'm assuming it might still be freezing. There's always that chance that it's snowing in August in Boston.
You're
and
too used to
Massachusetts.
Cape Cod.
I know.
Cape Cod barely gets warm in August. The water.
Seriously,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weather's so crazy. Well, listen, thank you so much. We hope you can come back
I
and
would
visit
love
us
to come
more
back.
often,
I love
anytime.
hanging out in the
You
crib
are so
with you
cool.
guys.
We love you, and everybody loves you.
Congratulations to you guys all, and Maria.
Thank
She's
you.
so amazing.
She is so
and
cool.
I really love the show, and I congratulate all you guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Living the dream,
You're so
baby.
sweet. Can we be your friend, please? Can you be my best friend? Can I know you?
No, she's mine.
She's awesome. You're so sweet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll upload this interview to YouTube. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you Tuesday for Real Housewives of New York recap show at 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
Pacific
and guys,
time.
don't forget to check out the organ donation line that we'll be
Yes.
putting up there. And yeah, you've heard it all. It is go sign up. Do
Where
it
can
today.
we find you guys? Courtney, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at COUHEN.
And Heather.
I am at Heather T.
Easy.
Yeah, is my handle on both Instagram and Twitter. And go to yummylife.com to find out about Yummy by Heather Thomson.
Awesome.
Awesome. And guys, you can find me on Twitter at host McGrath and on YouTube at host Stephanie McGrath.
And I'm at Miss Ashley Daniels on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
See you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. That's all right.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.